go. You decide if you're ever gonna let me know. If you ever try to let go, yeah, I'm sad and low, yeah, I'm sad, I know, yeah. Who am I? Someone that's afraid to let go. You decide if you're ever gonna let me know. If you ever try to let go, yeah, I'm sad and low, yeah, I'm sad, I know, yeah. I'm sad, I know, yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Welcome. Might as well say welcome back because y'all know we pretty much here 7 days a week. But on Mondays, we talk about The Last of Us. We are on season 2, episode 4. I'm so ready to talk about this episode because sometimes you watch stuff and you're like, is it me? Am I the drama? Am I tripping? Or, maybe somebody else could have got something totally different. But before we jump into all those things, do know that I am not only streaming on my platform, but my guest platform Backstage as well. So be sure to hit that like button for everybody, comment in that chat for everybody, share your thoughts on the show or even your predictions on where you think the next episode might be going. I'm going to bring my girl out first because y'all know we be getting into the mess together. Ashley, with the sweet perspective, are you ready to get into The Last of Us?
I'm ready, but the perspective is not sweet today. Of all the things in all the world that I did not want to see was aggressive scissoring between Dina and Ellie. I didn't want to see it. I don't want to ever see it again. And it was a waste of time. But yes, Tyra, I'm ready to get into it.
It was aggressive, Ashley.
It was aggressive.
You were aggressive. What did Jonathan say? I aggressed you. They aggressed us with this episode. Bringing her out next because she's been here kicking it with us, and we can't wait to hear her opinion as well. Quana with her real review. Are you ready to get into The Last of Us?
I'm ready to get in, but is there much to get into is the question. I don't know.
I do what I can, Quana.
I'm gonna try to bring some sweetness in life because since Ashley don't have none, I'm gonna try to find some.
Please, I ain't got none. But maybe this gentleman in the back has some. He hadn't been here in a few minutes, and we missed him. And we're so happy that he's back. And hopefully he's back, more on a cute basis. And we get to see him a whole lot more. Dom is in the house with screen static. Are you ready to get into The Last of Us? And welcome back.
What's up? Don't call it a comeback. But dang, was I only one who I didn't have an aggressive problem with this episode? Okay, it's just me. All right, cool.
And that's good. We need to mention because it might not just be you. It may be a chat full of folks, unsuspecting, unassuming people who could find this and go, you know what? I agree with Don. I wasn't aggressed at all. That's good. We need to mention here. We need to mention. Be sure that you guys are running it up in that chat, and we're going to get started the way that we always get started. And Ashley, I am going to come to you first while I'm fixing the sides and getting dumb up here. Overall thoughts on the episode, because when the apocalypse happens, make sure you got your money stat in your bag.
Girl, like really? Okay, yeast infections in post-apocalyptic. What? Okay. Anyway, listen. Overall thoughts. It left everything to be desired for me, Tyra. We watched this together. If you're in the Discord or part of the collective, shameless plug, go be a part of the collective Discord because we have fun. We watched this live together as a choir, right? Singing together as a choir. We did that. And my issue is this is such a departure from season 1. I was a fan of the way they knitted a yarn in season 1. I like a good standalone episode, introduce us to these people. You know, I liked that. And so for this episode, I was really hoping that Jeffrey Wright's character, Isaac, would have had his own. Give us him, give us the Seraphites, all that. That's cool. Let's stay there. What I didn't ever, like I told y'all, I never needed an Ellie and Dina situation. I never needed that. And I just feel like it didn't progress the story for me. Like, I think what they were trying to do is show us, you know, that, you know, this is going to be someone to live for, someone to die for, all of that. But it doesn't translate that. Y'all shoved Dina down our damn throats. And now Ellie's a daddy. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. It felt so forced. It felt so forced. And even if I'm going comparison, a bar for bar, if I compare this to Ellie's relationship with Storm Reed, I don't remember her character's name. Beautiful storytelling. In an episode, we got the depth, the width, the breadth of their relationship, and it didn't seem forced. This was the stark opposite of that, and I hated everything about it. Give me more Isaac. Give me more of the cult. Give me more of Wolf. Even give me more damn Abby at this point, Tyra. I'll take anything. Don't leave me alone with Ellie and Dina. Don't leave me alone with them anymore. I don't. We need a third. I need someone else in those scenes. Just say
third.
And I love Bella Ramsey down. This is not a knock to her as an actress. I loved her in Game of Thrones. I'm telling y'all. I think she's formidable. I think she's capable. I didn't like this.
Well, I haven't been over there in them Game of Thrones streets, and this is all I know her for, and I don't like it. Okay, don't like it. Don't like it one bit. I miss Pedro down. Miss Pedro real bad. You know what? I know you gamers or whatever happened in that game, they're following protocol, but we should have kept that man. We should have kept that man. Whose bright idea was it to leave us with Ellie and Dora the Explorer? Nobody. Whoever made that suggestion so quickly should have been fired. This show has been renewed for a third season. If they wanted to, you know, push Pedro off over there, maybe I think it was too soon. We needed a lot of time to really grow. First of all, Ellie just grew on me 5 minutes ago. I didn't even like her like that in the first season. You snatch the person that I enjoyed the most. Fine. If you're going to snatch somebody, you need to make sure that you have something formidable to replace it. And they don't. If you think I want to follow these heifers picnicking through an apocalypse, bumping coochies, you are out of your mind. The secondhand cringy embarrassment that I had watching this episode, it made me vomit a little bit in my mouth when she said, "I'm a daddy." Ooh, boot to the face. Boot to the face. I was so upset. And I'm never going to act like this show is just so awful. Oh my God, it's terrible. Even though that's in my little thumbnails. It is. This episode was. It's awful in comparison to what we know you guys could be, the potential that we saw, what you was able to do with Storm Reed and grow that relationship in the midst of one freaking episode. You haven't been able to do that over the course of 4 with Dina Dora the Explorer. Don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I'd rather look at Shimmer's ass, the back of that horse, than see them frolicking. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't. It's just very, very upsetting. The best thing you could have done and should do is really focus on Jeffrey Wright. And I never wanted to be like, oh, you guys needed to be male-centered, male-focused. Now that Pedro's gone. No, we want acting. We want character. We want somebody to root for, even if it's a villain. Like, give us something. Give us something. Even when Abby was getting on my damn nerves, at least it was something. This farce of a love story that they're shoving down my face, I don't want it. I was really embarrassed to watch this episode. Not for myself, for them. Quana?
I just don't understand. Who among the showrunners? Who among the writers? So we have the Pedro Pascal, and we're going to take him and not figure out a way to make him stick around for a little bit longer. We're going to get rid of him.
Mhm.
And then this is what we get left with. And it's last week it was, I don't know if I like girls. Now it's I'm the daddy. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. And I'm a little mad. And you know what it's given? It's given when The Walking Dead was like basically like we can't have more than one black person. They was like we can't have more than one Latino at a time. So since we got the girl who played Dora, we got to get rid of Pedro. Like I'm not understanding like the trade-off. And if the trade-off was Jeffrey, then the whole episode could have just been Jeffrey. We could have had it bookend with 2 seconds of Ellie and 2 seconds of Ellie at the end, and we ain't need none of that in the middle. I don't understand. And maybe they said, you know, Jeffrey at one point in time, you know, he played, what was it, Pablo Escobar, whatever the dude's name was in Shaft. They was like, he be playing Spanish speaking sometimes. Whoa. Is that what it really gives that? And it's like, but no, that's not what we want. You could have asked us, you could have polled the room. We would have told you, keep Pedro here. I'm mad and I'm still confused. I'm confusion. Because she really said, I don't know if I like girls. And then this week it was, I'm the pappy. I can't. I had to rewatch that scene like 4 times. I said, did she just say I'm the daddy?
She did.
I was like, let me go. I almost stopped right there.
They could have gave us to this corner. They could have gave us, you know, what are you in here for, man? You in here for income tax evasion? I would have went over there with Shaft. I would have went over there. Thank you so much, Latino Slant. Paulie's in the house with the $2 who said, no Pedro, no mas, no peace. Okay, where is Pedro? Now, to make it make sense for us, Dane, first I want to know, not Dane, Dom, first I want to know, do you play the game?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you feel about this episode?
So, for all intents and purposes, let's say I don't play the game. I played the first one like for 10 minutes. So we can say, no, I don't play the game because I didn't make it this far into the game. But I knew, like, because, you know, I watch all the breakdown videos and I didn't really care about getting spoiled. So I knew that the Pedro thing was coming before it came. But no, I don't play the game. So I don't have any attachment to the source. They got to be. So I just want a good story. And for me, the Dina, so it's kind of mixed for me because I agree with all of you that Dina feels forced on us. Like as like I didn't have a problem with this specific episode. Like how they were in this episode, I didn't have a problem with. I just felt like we didn't earn our way here. Like the Dina I met two episodes ago is not. I don't know this person like that, and I didn't see how everybody else know this person. I don't know how Ellie knows this person like this. She was just, and it seemed like a mismatch. Like when you introduced her to us, it was like you wanted her to be like a second daughter to Joel, because her and Joel, Joel was teaching her how to do electricity stuff for 1 second, and then it was like, all right, we're gonna go down that path. So they're like surrogate sisters, but then that evaporated at the end of that episode, and then now so the lead up to Dina, the foundation of Dina, I think was poorly handled. But this specific episode, if I'm looking at this episode by itself, I did not mind it because how they were interacting with each other reminded me that the world ended in 2003. For them, so 2000, and then like for same-sex relationships in 2003, this is how that would have, you know what I'm saying? Like for 19-year-olds in 2003 who we don't have all the language and the progressiveness that we've got now. In 2003, yeah, yesterday I don't like what I like because I'm trying to push it down. And today, now that I feel comfortable, yeah, okay, now that I feel comfortable. And seeing you thinking that you were about to die and realizing that you're not gonna die, I feel like that was enough to like wake that up in her. So that was the arc of this episode. I didn't mind, and I did like the bookend of Jeffrey Wright's character. I like that we started and ended with him. And if they would have flipped it, I would have been fine. If it was like bookend with Dina and them, and then give me more Jeffrey, I'd have been fine with that. I don't like the solitary episodes, like you were talking about, where it's like the Walking Dead episode where we learned about old boy with the stick, and we had to watch a whole episode of him learn his attachment to that stick. I don't like them episodes. Give me everybody in each episode. I want to see the plot progress. But this episode didn't bother me.
Must be nice. Moving to the main attraction. Jeffrey should never be a beginning in a book end. And it's not even me just wanting to focus on Jeffrey. I really missed and enjoyed those kind of all-inclusive episodes that we got in that first season where we would focus. There felt like there was focus and it didn't take away from the plot. It always kind of circled back around, and most of the time those episodes were more fulfilling because you would get into a character where they started versus how they now. You kind of have them speak on it in the kitchen in the scene we'll get into later, but you get into their humanity of it all and what was taken away. And this felt, microwaved a little bit, especially for Jeffrey Wright. I really wanted it to be more pronounced because Jeffrey, from what I know, is the same person who voices this character in the game. So I was like, oh, okay, this is perfect. But we meet him here. We're introducing Isaac, and we're sparing just one person because all of y'all can get it. We meet him working for Phaedra, and out of nowhere, we're blowing all of these people away because he is fed up, clearly, and wants to get more into the civilian side. We have this conversation in the SWAT truck about voting rights and why do we call them this? And it's like it's a derogatory term because we took something away, and you guys aren't seeing the bigger picture. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm choosing sides. And we go over here and we're joining the wolves and sparing this one Phaedra soldier. We don't get a whole lot here. We get enough to know the power and position that he has and how, forced and abrupt that he could be. And he's not afraid to pull the trigger. And he means business. But when it comes to Jeffrey Wright, the Jeffrey Wright who's going to act down, I could stand to have a whole lot more than just, 3 minutes in the beginning of an episode. Dom, I'm going to come back to you. How did you feel finally meeting Isaac in the way that this scene was handled with his introduction?
Oh, I liked it. This was, to me, this was a great way to start the episode because it immediately subverted my expectations. I'm like, all right, I know we started in the past, but I'm like, all right, this Phaedra agent who is different than everybody else. Because he's Jeffrey Wright, but two, just the way Jeffrey Wright speaks and how he was speaking to the other soldiers was like, oh, this is somebody different. And then the turn at the end of the scene, I was like, oh, I immediately want to know more. And to me, that's how you build good suspense and good anticipation. Because right at the point where I wanted to know more, now we cut to, the scissoring. And so so I liked the scene, and I liked, because now I immediately want to go back to this. Like whenever we go back to Jeffrey Wright, I'm locked in because I want to know more. So it was this was a perfect way to start the episode for me.
I will say before I came to you, Quana, I was disappointed that we didn't give him more of the episode because with us only having 3 left, there's only so much time that we have to spare. So I'm convinced if we probably didn't give it to him now, we're probably not going to get it at all. They just want to, here's Jeffrey Wright and here's Isaac. Quana, how did you feel about Jeffrey here?
I liked the opening sequence, but it's really just, I don't even want to say it's a nitpick, but it's just this frustration that I'm having around the creation of the show as a whole and the writing of the show, like the arcs, because we got introduced to his character and then the situation with, him throwing the grenade into the back of the truck and everything like that happens. But I think they're forgetting that not only have we had at least a year between seasons, but we really haven't had as much engagement with military or soldiers or anyone of that kind since last season. A little bit with the Fireflies or Firelights, whatever they're called, that they were fighting in the last episode of season 1. It's been a little while, and so I kind of felt like I think they are trusting a little too heavily that people have gone back and rewatched season 1 in preparation for this. And so I just felt like there was a little bit of disconnect with like how they were brought into all of that conversation. That said, this is classic. Yeah, I feel like this was classic Jeffrey Wright in terms of like the stoicism that he sometimes brings to his roles. I loved seeing him on screen. I loved like the gravitas that he had, because Ellie and Dina are so not giving us that. They're not giving us that they really feel the weight of everything that's going on. And so it was good to have someone on screen who felt like they understood that we're dealing with some life and death situations here. So I really liked that part of it. So I really would have liked there to have been more to that, because then the next time we see him, he's torturing people and whatnot. So I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more with regards to who he is as a person if we're going to spend time with him. I completely forgot that we only had 3 episodes left. So that made me sad right now. Ty, you just broke my heart. Because I was like, dang, we're really not going to have no time to spend with this man. He's a character that I would like to get a little bit. They could have spent more time setting him up than giving us what's Kevin McAllister's mama's name? I forgot just that.
Gail.
Yes, her. Unless they're gonna do something significant with her towards the end of this season, we could have got less of her, and they could have sprinkled in, introduced his character a little bit earlier, or at least y'all. If the Walking Dead fans will remember how before we got the return of Morgan, we would see Morgan dressed up, covered up, walking through the woods before he came back. It was like teasing this introduction. I kind of would have liked that they would have went that route of teasing his introduction to set us up for it, because then they could have built in a little bit more around his character and then not have it be like this sudden appearance that we don't know what they're going to do with. But I liked, what they gave us with his character.
They absolutely had time for him. When Abby was going up that mountain like she was to save her marriage, we could have been getting Jeffrey Wright. Okay. I completely agree. I would have loved to see this side of Phaedra and more so a Soldier of it. We haven't seen, especially when we're getting into Abby or the Wolves, because there's a transition from this Phaedra to the Wolves. We haven't seen somebody go through the process enough to see why. Well, we know why, but it would be nice to have a visual of why these people, though they are just as heinous, everybody thinks they're on the right side of the law. So it would be interesting to see like why you signed up, how you got there, what was lost, and how we ended up, with the torture devices in the kitchen. Ashley, Jeffrey.
Okay. Again, he was the best part of this entire episode for me. And what I will say, like, y'all know I wanted a whole episode just with him. I wanted his origin story. And I mean, while they're giving us this look back and then fast forward to where he's at now, I agree with Quana in that I needed something more, like everything we've gotten as far as Phaedra, the Fireflies, and then the Wolf Pack. It's very much been breadcrumbed, right? Like, oh yeah, Eugene was a part of the Fireflies, but then he went to be WLF, and then we have Abby and her offshoot who are now WLF. The Fireflies had this code, whatever, but when we see him actually meet here, I believe that these are already the Wolf Pack, right? And he's going to be their questioner, and with all his torture secrets. I enjoy his character because I feel like there's an integrity to him. Even in that, he's like, we want to respect these people. You guys are on here making fun of these people who gave their lives, who lost their lives in this struggle. It's like he has this past awareness and this almost disgruntledness with where Phaedra's now at, right? It seems like when he started with Phaedra, we were in a completely different place, right? We were trying to regulate society. We were trying to do, whatever, militarize and all these things. And now it's shifted and changed. And so now I'm leaving this thing to go to what I believe might actually even be worse. We needed more of this. We needed his background. We needed his motivation. We needed to know who he was outside of being at Williams and Sonoma. I needed to know what he was doing before the outbreak. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that would have been wasted. They could have given us an entire episode of his backstory. I think they almost did him a disservice for me. And then begs the question is, why did we save this one? Was it because he was so young? Because he wasn't participating necessarily in that conversation? I just had a lot of questions around his introduction and why in this manner. Why did you make such a statement with it? I just want to know more. It intrigued me. So if that was their mission, it did make me want to know more. But I agree. I don't think I'm going to get what I need out of these next 3 episodes in terms of his character. I don't think I'm going to get it, unfortunately.
That would have made my day, Ashley, if we would have got some history. You ever see people in this position? It makes me think about Dawn of the Dead. I know you haven't seen that one, but the remake when people are like strategists and comeback killers and this, that, and that. It was like, who were you before everything came burning down? It's like, I was working at Blockbuster. Like, what? Like, what was your job before? You were here torturing people in the kitchen because he was quick to say, like, I always wanted, this I couldn't afford it. Like, what was your job? Thank you so much. Dane is here to be the op. I spoke on it and now you're here. I like this episode. It had good callbacks to the game. Ellie searching the dead body for ammo, her playing the guitar, and self killer. Yeah. Dan, you sound like those people who are in defense of this mess. I don't know. I'm having a tug of war with the show in the game and what they're deciding to take away and what they're deciding to follow to a T. The things that they are deciding to follow to the T are the things that irritate me the most. Those little, peekaboo moments, like those callbacks that you would identify with because you are, a heavy game player. But what about us who aren't? Right now, it just feels like you're wasting my time. Speaking of wasting time and being unaware, maybe they were all optimistic. Yeah, y'all already know that I was bothered last episode when they came trolloping in there on My Little Pony in the middle of the city and one acting like they could be surrounded by ops at any moment. They're all loud, Shimmer's click clacking in the middle of the street, and nothing changed here. They're just as loud, obnoxious, making noise. Dina, oh God, we're dropping. It was like that little TikTok when you drop the top of your pot in the kitchen. Shing-ling-ling, we're here. Come kill us if you can. Just grow up. I keep waiting for the moment for us to kind of transition into Ellie the woman, and we have yet to do that, and no amount of smecks is going to get me there. But this quickly became, encapsulated with what we got later. Be who you are for your pride. We got the references. We got the be who you are for your pride. We got, the little relics of a pastime and, what it means. They don't, identify or know what any of these things are, the flag and the pride symbol and everything. So we gotten that. And this is really, hand in hand more so with Dina because Ellie is accepting and knows, though young as well, she knows who she is and what she wants, where you have Dina more on the indecisive side where, you're the gay one. I just want you to rape my kiss, where you're gay, and of course the conversation that we get with her later as far as, her mother and, this has been poured on me as far as what I had to be for sexuality. But now that we're out here and I do know there's more than Jackson, there is you, there are options. If I want to be gay, it's okay. They were even gay back then, but we don't know that because they were just optimistic. But Ashley, we're making a hella noise in the street and riding horseback on Shimmer.
Yeah, and we went to Guitar Center and played the drums really loud. This was the most unhinged, nothing, Jon Snow. Like Ellie, literally, did you learn nothing from traversing the country with Joel in season 1? Again, we mentioned this last week. Did you forget everything you've ever learned? Here, my vision for who Ellie would be post Joel was an Avenger. I thought she was going to have a one-track mind, be here for the revenge of it all, moving stealth-like. Like all that training she was doing with the Giants and Jesse back in Jackson, I said, this is going to come into play. We're going to see her in all black. We're going to see her rolling off Shimmer, hiding behind bushes, like doing reconnaissance, and that's nothing of the sort. We got old maiden shoes, Tyra. Hate everything about it.
No, wait. I did put, we make an assessment. We assess the damage because they do see the bodies. And she's like, you know what? There was some serious damage. She assessed.
She decided to play the drums. Yeah. Like no one would hear. The clickers wouldn't hear, the damn stalkers or whatever y'all call them, the bloaters. Not to mention, people are in these tanks. We saw the tanks as well, but it didn't make us pause and say, maybe we should be a little quiet and not like aggressively hunch later on. I got it. I get the flag. I get the pride. I get the jacket, right? It's subtle foreshadowing. We get it, Dina, girl. Like you're all the way over there. This was so heavy-handed. This was so heavy-handed for me. We get it, girl. Y'all gay. You happy. We get it. All right. Bump pocketbooks all you want. Like it didn't do anything for me, and it's actually ruining the image that I have for Ellie and what I wanted to see from her after the loss of Joel. I'm very disappointed at these scenes, y'all. I really am. And
You didn't like it? You see Dina. Dina said, "You see the jacket? You see what I did there? You see my pride? You see the colors? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you didn't see colors in Dina's jacket? You didn't see them trying to be who they were for their pride. Oh, we're making noise, but at least we're obsessing. We're looking around. We're making assessments about the type of danger we might be in. while, putting a target on our back for anybody who could or maybe, might be watching, but at least they were acknowledging the pride in the area and what it could have been.
Mm-hmm. It was like they said, we might get canceled, y'all, so let's just throw everything in this one episode just in case they snatch our eyes off the air. I was like, wait, what? Okay. It was like, okay. Then I had to go online and look. I was like, Dina, Last of Us video game. I said, okay, so they just decided with the wardrobe, they was just going to make sure we're going to give you the wardrobe. We're going to give you the banner in the background. We're just going to give you all the things. We're going to give Ellie calling herself a daddy in the end. I'm like, okay. And I think the problem that I would have with it is, one, it doesn't match what we've gotten with Dina's character. And even if she's having this awakening now that she's away from Jesse, the symbolism is so heavily coded and not subtle at all that it's like there's no way that it would be that loud unintentionally. So then why? And then with Ellie, I just always felt like in season 1 we got Joel as this man who completely accepts Ellie as she is. And I know that there was that strain, and I think this is one of the bad things about the time jump, where I understand why they wanted to do it, because they wanted to give the actors an opportunity to play closer to their real age. And I get that. But with having that 5-year time jump, we don't really get the disconnect. And what if at all of that she would have lost? Because Joel completely accepted Ellie as they are. Like Ellie could go and say, hey, I'm non-binary, or I don't feel like a girl. Joel would have been like, I don't care what you is. You my kid. That's all I care about. That was how Joel was. And so you had this pairing that was so completely accepting. So then it seems like some of the conversation is just so it forced in a way that wouldn't be for someone who has now been nurtured under that acceptance. Dina's conversation and like her mom telling her she was going to be, you gonna like boys. Okay, that could come out. But I just felt like with Ellie, it just didn't make sense the way that it was coded. I liked the little guitar playing sequence. I thought that was the one little nod. I know we're probably gonna talk about that later. I thought that was a cute little nod to Joel or whatever. But just it was very happy. It was very happy for an episode that still should be very solemn. We're not there yet. And you know what? I'm gonna liken it to this. If this was their Sinner's juke joint scene, right? This was their Sinner's juke joint scene. Not trying to spoil that for people who haven't seen it. Go watch the movie. But it then the splicing of the episode shouldn't have happened the way that it did. That maybe the way that they played out Dina and Ellie's arc should have happened a little bit differently than what happened with it. If that we're going to give this like revelation or this reveling in freedom and be happy and optimistic and gay and all the things, it wasn't cohesive enough for it to give us that.
It wasn't Quan. We haven't had enough time. I feel like the show is on a time crunch because we only have 7 episodes. So they're like, we gotta fit and squeeze everything. Gay, everything. Dina, jacket. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just too much. And I was just ready for at least Ellie to be dressed in all black like the Omen. Have your friend saying this for my homie. We are not on that type of time, and we are frolicking and having a wonderful time. Horseback. Dom, were you here for the optimistic bunch here?
Yeah, so the short answer is yes. And I'm gonna say that I think Ashley, I think Quana, I think that sometimes we hyper focus on one part of the show and don't look at the whole show, because I think when Joel died, I think and Ellie screamed out that I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill all of you. We expected that Ellie was about to be Abby. She was about to be Abby, and nothing else exists outside of getting vengeance for Joel. And that's what I thought too at the end of the episode. But then I remembered after that, when I watched other episodes, that's not Ellie. First of all, Ellie got the most severe version of ADHD I've ever seen in my life. But this whole season, I mean, last season too, but this season reinforces her the fact that she's impatient, the fact that she don't listen, she don't follow rules, she don't make the smart decisions, she's very impulsive. Like when she was on top of the hill sniping clickers with her uncle, like and every time she go on patrol, she don't never follow the rules, she don't never do the smart thing, she just charges in and does whatever Ellie want to do because she want to have fun. And I'm like, and I think that's what, to me, this episode showed, is because we don't have an adult in the room, we don't have an adult on staff with these kids. They are kids. 19 be, whatever, they are kids. And this is how kids act. This is how kids act when they don't have adult supervision. And this is how Ellie and Dina act every time somebody not watching them. Shoot, this is what they do sometimes when they are watching them. And so to me, it was consistent with the characters. It's not necessarily, I mean, what we were expecting and maybe not what we wanted, but I do think that it's consistent with the characters. I don't think that Ellie's acting any different than she's acted in the past season and a half. And I liked it. I like the contrast, because now it shows the importance of Joel. Like, to me, Joel is missed in the show because I see how Ellie is without Joel, and she's still Ellie. And if she wasn't immune, Ellie been dead 15 times over. And I think that if you had Joel die and then now she becomes Arya after training for a season to become Batman, and now she's not Arya Stark, and she didn't. And I think that's what shows Joel's absence, is the fact that she's still out here doing dumb Ellie stuff. And I was enjoying it.
That makes complete sense. I completely understand. It's the 5-year jump for me. We didn't meet even this Ellie. We met this disgruntled, mad as hell, sleeping in the garage. I need my distance. I'm isolated. I'm training for the I was gonna say something. I'm training for the Olympics. I'm tackling down man, and we will, reference what, that was used for. I'm sparring with Jesse, and hit me harder. Don't go soft. Like, I'm not saying I'm expecting her to be a universal soldier. I would never expect that from Ellie. Not at all. I'm expecting, at least, because I think they are regressing Ellie so that she can match up with Dina. With everything that she had, but even the Ellie who accepted whatever her fate was once, Joe did what he needs to do, got her to the location in the hospital. We didn't come this far for nothing. Whatever it is, I'm gonna go through with it. She progressed more there. Like, this is Ellie who, survived the cannibal predatory, pastor, whatever, like the religious fanatic. Like, this is that Ellie. Ellie is out here moving like she learned nothing. That's my concern. We can still be childlike, and I really love those moments, like we said with Storm Reed, where we are in the midst of this terrible situation, but we can still find joy, still find growth, and be girls, because we are 19, we are 20. You're not, a super adult then, but it's just so unserious. And I need a level of something if I'm going to have to progress with you moving forward to a next season. That's all I'm saying. Let me get this super chat. Thank you so much, Rod, for the $5. Starting the first game, we as the player have to find alcohol and other items to make health kits. Scissors to make sheaves. Why they made Ellie dumb. And like I said,
well, I get that, but I think they split. I think the reason they did make her dumb, but I think they split it in half. And so, because she's smart when it comes to like weapons, so she can take down and put together a weapon. She got all the weapons that she need, and she can maneuver with them. Mm-hmm. But I think they split her to give Dina something to do. Yeah. And so Dina's the health kit, Dina's the repair person, mm-hmm. and so I just think they split that. Which you gotta do that for the show. You gotta get her something to do. Jesus.
She has a backpack.
And the map.
And I get that. I'm like, man, I thought we were gonna. I thought at this point Ellie would be like, Dina, I need you to, like, this is serious. When she's like, so, like, rate my kiss, like, so how was it? How's the slumber party? We're gonna go shopping. Like, it was Mean Girls last episode. I was like, what? we already, abruptly skipped the emotion or whatever toll she may have been through with losing Joel, and we went 3 months ahead. I'm just not seeing the growth, and them coffee grounds ain't do it for me neither. But yeah, as much as I love Aha, Take On Me is the joint. I was here for the guitar. I got the reference. I'm not, a gamer. I don't know anything about that, but I did see, like, in the midst of the turmoil and all this music, all this destruction, all these guitars, and oh my God, there's one. It's just unscathed, and it's been sitting here in this case, and it's in prime condition for me to play. It's damn near serenade Dina here, and she's brought to tears. I get it. This was really supposed to be a vulnerable moment. We are supposed to throw away whatever Dina said last episode and how she felt. At this moment, I'm seeing you for who you are. I'm seeing a little bit of Joel. I'm seeing potential. You know what? I'm so moved. They could have kept this. And not the song, okay? You can have your song, you can have your moment. I really wanted a flashback from Joel real bad. I was like, are we going to get a flashback or a reference to, he clearly taught you how to play the guitar, but, those are things we skipped. We just have them, verbally say it. But I would love for Ellie to have her guitar solo moment, Guitar Hero, go off. But it didn't have to last as long as it did because we only have so much time. Dom, were you here for the serenading of it all?
No, this was one of those things that is so obviously from the game. Like I didn't have to look anything up to be like, oh, this is from the game, because it was just so. And I'm like, and if you're gonna be teary eyed, if I'm gonna bring you to tears playing it, this needs to come after we confess our love to each other. Don't have me playing and you crying and then act like you don't like me like that. That's what I didn't like. And then also, they must have got Pedro Pascal for 3 days for this season. They had 3 days to shoot everything they had to shoot because he couldn't even be dead on the table when his brother was washing his hands. We couldn't even have the real Pedro dead on the table. We can't get a flashback. We can't get. I thought they had a real conversation when he was on the porch. I thought we was gonna flash back to that. Nothing. Pedro gone. He said, "I gotta shoot the Mandalorian. I got 3 more movies to shoot." 3 days they got him because he's gone. I'm like, man, yeah. This scene, as much as I'm defending this episode, I was like, nah, I'm good on this one. I'm good on this one. To me, it should have came either later in the episode after they had the sex. I don't know. Or in place of the sex. To me, this would have been more impactful. Is if instead of the scissoring, if like they confessed, if this was how she confessed her love, like it brought her to tears, and then she was so overcome with emotion that she kind of now come to face with how she felt. To me, that would have been more impactful. This just seemed weirdly placed because it was in the game, so I got to put it in the show. That's what it felt like to me.
Ashley, were you here for because this was self-discovery. This was Dina being inspired enough to be, you know what we get later on, I can be my authentic self. And, I see what you learned from Joel. This is just such a deep, impactful moment. I'm falling in love here. Ashley.
Dina.
Not the deep pause, Ashley.
Negro sigh. Dina is for the streets, has been for the streets. This is a fad. She is not a part of the community. She is not an LMNOP. She's not over there. I don't know why we're pretending. I don't know why the hype. I don't know why. The only thing I got, and I only got it, damn, after watching the showrunners give their little after show thing. We're supposed to be loving and, resting in this because Joel did teach her how to play the guitar. But every time I think of the damn guitar case, I think of the moth and I think of death. So no, this did nothing for me. She learned to play the guitar, yippee, again, another 5 minutes or however long it was that I didn't need. And Dom, to your point, case and point, you got to sing to get the draws. You got to play the guitar to get the panties. Like this was a player move. This is the only player move that Ellie's ever given at this point. Honestly, I don't give a damn though. Dina, you knew whether you liked that hot box before. You knew it. You know or you don't know. Like, I really wish we would stop playing around with it. It's either you do or you don't. I still feel like this is a toy. This is in the moment. Maybe, we're heightened because of everything that's just happened, but I could give two damns. I do love the song. Ellie, you play the guitar. Yippee. I no, Tyra, no.
Quana, hot dog.
I can't. Oh God. I like this song. I remembered that Bella Ramsey did covers on YouTube. So I was like, okay, look at them. They trying to have their little Ed Sheeran Game of Thrones moment right here. This is cute. I didn't know for sure that she did this in the game or not. Mm-hmm. And I just said to Dane, I said on somebody's channel, I was like, it's like they forgot how to make television. Why was that not a show not tell? That's the first lesson. I promise you, yo, you sign up for the writing class, and it's the first thing that they tell you. Every professor, it is in the manual. When you take the classes, the very first thing, I promise you, they get paid by how much they remember to say this line. They say show not tell. So why was that not a flashback to Dina watching Joel play and then making because we still all we have a Dina and Joel is that first episode. We don't really know. So this moment of her singing and us knowing that her and Joel bonded over music, I was like, it would have been better served if she was playing it with her uncle. But he not here, so we need to be reminded that Dina had some kind of connection to Joel too. So cute little flashback of her, of him playing it, and then it like blending together, like fading into her, and her being reminded of that, and then that would have been a cute. You wouldn't have had to do too much, but like Dom, I think Dom is right. They could not afford Pedro this season. So we did, and then they must have been writing the episodes after the episode. Because ain't no way you had this planned out from jump. Because you could have had been like, okay, we need Pedro for this scene, so we can use him a little bit on every episode. But they probably got to pay him for every episode that even his likeness is in, so they can't do that. So now we just got this. So I thought the song was cute, but it just wasn't. It wasn't all the things around it. It just wasn't given.
And we got to pay Jeffrey Wright salary this season too. So it's like we ain't got enough. We ain't got enough. It's not enough. It's not enough.
It's not. They can't pay because they got to pay Jeffrey and Pedro. They can't afford, and all of them is getting ready to be collecting Marvel money. So we definitely can't afford them now.
Today's price is not.
So I thought it would have been cute, but it just wasn't. It didn't give what needed to be gave.
I'm extremely terrified. I just knew that wasn't. I thought we were going to fade into sepia tones and we were going to have Pedro go, hey, like we're going to have, some flashbacks and some conversations and some sweet moments. No, they said, no, we just have Dina. He taught you well. So, girl, shut up. Absolutely no damn situational awareness. Now, as I said, we were frolicking. Frolicking. We go from frolicking to killing a full-size grown man. Now look, I already had my bouts earlier, that first episode where she was taking down Big Daddy in the barn. So you know what? Have your moment. The one thing I don't like is for a situation to be girl bossed. I don't know what's happening in the game over there with Ellie or how she's moving, how she's looking, because y'all swear Abby buff as hell over there. But that's not what this is. It already looked weak the way that we even wound up here. We're just wandering around. There are red flags everywhere that says go back. You don't go past go. You don't collect $200. Go back. I want them to just go back to Jackson so bad, but I know that's not happening. But the best thing we got out of this scene is when we get into the scars and what they're willing to do to their enemies and that they're just as brutal. That was great. We see them, strung up. That was fine. I appreciated that. It served a purpose. Mm-hmm. When we got into, find whoever did this, find anybody. I don't care if it's a woman, child, children, baby, whatever, kill them. And they're just in here. I'm like, y'all don't have to be in here. It was just so stupid. It's like they were just trying to die this episode. And I need better ABC writing as to how we would even end up here. The reasoning for us to be here and what we were even seeking out, it was just dumb to me, so I didn't believe it. And when we got in here and we're really trying to get into like, all right, Ellie, this is what you trained for. All right, this is what Jesse had you. And it's just, we see it, but it's just not believable. A lot of my issue with this in general is just that Dina and Ellie look all of 15 years old. And I know they're grown. I get it. I get it. And I know it's nice to, have some actual of age in this role because, they'll have somebody here and be like, girl, you 42. Why you playing a 20-year-old? But I need something. I need something. I'm not believing that these little girls, even though they're grown adults, are running around handling business and taking down anybody. Ashley?
Okay, so I didn't mind part of this scene, and I'll explain why. As far as y'all know, we watched it again in the Discord together, and I said, "What is she now, Lara Croft? Like, what are we doing, Ellie? Like, you're just taking boys down. Let me get you. Let me slice your throat, and you go jump out the way." Like, Ellie, I too don't believe. But what I feel like we did gain from this scene is the brutality of the Seraphites, like you said, because before when we initially meet them, they look like a peaceful cult. Like they look like they were completely slaughtered and they were defenseless. So now finding that there is either an offshoot of them that are warriors and fight, this gave me what I needed to know to see who we're working with. And really, at the end of the day, the wolf pack and them are really the same. There's no limits. There's no boundaries. They're brutal. They're both brutal. So there's not really one that we should be siding with over the other. These are both cult groups in essence, who believe in what their mission is and are kind of by any means necessary. That's all I got from them. Dina and Ellie could go directly to the hot place. I could give a whole damn. I don't believe it. I don't believe, just like I didn't believe her fighting that lumberjack when he was like, don't pull your punches. It's like he would have knocked your head off, Ellie. So you mean to tell me that this full military trained combat veteran couldn't get out of your thigh grip or whatever it was, like your headlock? I don't believe you, sis. I don't, girl. I don't, because you just, again, went from frolicking on Shimmer to now you're assassin. All right. You're top cop. I just didn't believe it. But like I said, we did get something out of this scene here in this place.
Dom, what about you? How are we supposed to coast, or how are you planning to coast through the rest of these episodes or even the remaining season when we have the likes of at least Dina looking like the strongest liability I ever seen? We're not stopping because we're queasy and we got to vomit. We're just stopping for the hell of it to look back at nothing.
Man.
Dom?
And let me tell you, and I'll tell you, I did believe Ellie. I believed Ellie killing the soldier and stuff. And I think but for only two reasons. One, because they keep giving us a training sequence. They gave us 15 training sequences to show that she could take down a full-grown man. And two, juxtaposed against Dina, you got to, because if Dina look over her shoulder one more time, I'm a killer. I'm like, if you keep stopping, and I guess so in contrast, because Dina is asking to die, I think that it makes Ellie look more believable just because they're standing next to each other, at least for me. But also, they make such poor decisions, because when you get into, first of all, I don't know how we made the decision to go in this building, because it's like this don't look like we should be in here. And then, but okay, we go in because we're stupid. All right, cool. We go in, and then there's a body on the floor with 15 arrows in it, and we see it's a WLF person. So even if this used to be their base, if they got a dead person here that they didn't bury, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they're not here anymore. That's what I would think. I would just be like, oh, something went down here and they not here anymore. We got to go find where they at or something. I'm not investigating further, because if it's not enough of them to bury their own people, I don't know if we need to run into whatever did this to them. And so that's just my thing. But to me, they made really poor decisions. But and only so much of it can be chalked up to them being young. Because I could believe Dina, but Ellie, you've been with Joel for a whole season, clearing houses, going up against what was the city they was in with the black boy who was really sad. That whole arc should have been enough for Ellie to be like, we need to reevaluate. And so I did. This part was what bothered me. This whole part of the episode is what bothered me. I need to go. Yeah, I'm done.
Quana.
Um, I will say this. Okay. Okay, I found it. I found it, Ashley. I found my sweetness. Okay. I liked that. I liked the way that they set up the Seraphites for us getting introduced to them in the last episode and thinking that they were very sweet, innocent, and feeling very kind of outraged that someone would kill them without, any kind of thought to the fact that there were children there. And then kind of going into this episode, it already kind of still we're thinking, okay, these are going to be someone that needs to be protected or they're going to be attacked. What's going to happen? Then we get the interrogation scene with Jeffrey, and then we get the reveal of kind of this, of seeing, okay, well, somebody in the group can defend themselves and is capable of getting payback. So I like that, even though we really don't know every aspect to what led to this, I like that the way they set it up. That's the one thing I will give them, that kept me intrigued. I want to know more about them. So for that, that's the one thing that they did get right for me in this episode. In terms of Ellie and Dina, yeah, it's just stupidity upon stupidity. We're just gonna walk in with this body that's got like 3 and 4 bows inside of it, just laying on the ground, and we're just gonna keep walking in. We're not gonna look around, listen out for nothing. We're not gonna, we're just gonna go straight in. And then here you got Dina again throwing up yet again. So I was like, okay, how many more times are we gonna have her stop? And it does put me on edge for Ellie, because here it is, she's thinking she's getting support. This woman is not no support for you. She can't help you do nothing. So now you got an extra liability, and you can barely get through your own self, let alone now you got this extra liability. It is making me wonder, like, are they just setting this up to be like, she wasn't broken enough with Joel, so we need to give her somebody else that can fully break her down? Is that what's coming? So at this point now, I'm just like, please drop her off somewhere to where she can go get a Happy Meal and go on about her business, because you're not going to be able to keep her with you. That's quite plain.
My thing is, Dina was a liability before the pregnancy.
She was.
Out of all the people that you could have taken with you to, have your back, Dina was the last person. Somebody who's never really left Jackson, who's been in that protective bubble, and now this is like a culture shock, and she's also pregnant, and I'm also like, it's just not well. And I know a lot of the times we are looking for the clickers, we are looking for the bloaters, we're looking for, especially the little step ones, these the stalkers, that introduction, we're looking for these things. I'm not looking, as much as I love this, I'm not looking for the clickers to save you from yourselves. I thought that was really, like, I was waiting, like, Lord, please get the clickers, because if they're found, they're dead. Get the clickers for a distraction. I don't want them here in that capacity. I don't want to keep bringing up the past season, but they were used, right over there. This here, I was here for it. The lighting was great. I loved it. They got a lot of anxiety in this scene, and you know that nothing's going to happen. But if we're going to get the clickers and really show once again their growth and their involvement, like, maybe we're not slow anymore. We're running fast as hell, and if you don't get away, you're a goner. I appreciate the intensity of the scene, but I don't want the introductions of the clickers based on you needing a cop out to survive. Ashley, did this do anything for you?
We know why they did this. We know why they did this. We know. Again, everything is just so, oh my God. She had to find out Ellie was immune, right? So it was a means to an end. Let's be serious though. Dina's not long for this life. She can't be. There's no way. When the first stalker approaches, she's out of there. She's doners. Unless we build a team of some rogue somebodies that just join them and help the group, Dina's a goner. And it's this, I don't know, because she's supposed to be formidable herself, is what they would have had us believe, right? She would go on the patrols. She was down with Ellie playing around with the damn clickers in the basement. So we would think that she had a little bit more prowess. I just feel like she's going to be a liability and another means to break Ellie's character down, right? We need to get Ellie to this broken place so she can really perform. I say let's hasten that day. Let's get Dina all the way out of here, because what really perturbed me, and you're right, lighting was great, you know, the horde, the massive horde, fine. But what I'm really needing them to, I don't know, y'all, Dina bothers me so much every time I see her on the screen, because who asked you to be here? Why is she here, Ike? It's just beyond me. And then the fact that you find out about Ellie's immunity and you don't have any other questions. Oh wow, that's great. Let's hunch. It just, she's not a real, you're not real, man. She's not real. Like, Dina, there's something off or different, because wouldn't that literally be a conversation we need to have right then? How does this work? How long have you known? Like, what's going on? Like,
Next episode.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so aggravated by Dina. I really am.
Okay.
Like I said, don't leave me alone with the two of them ever again. Hurry and bring someone else.
You gotta let them cook. You gotta let them cook. Don, were you here for the clickers popping out?
Well, yeah, I was. This whole scene was great to me. This was amazing to me. And I'm gonna put my little nerd hat on, because I'm gonna say, well, actually, they were used in this exact same way in season 1, because in season 1, when they were running from the lady in the city with the black boy,
that was fantastic, though, Don.
Yeah,
what are we talking about?
That was the greatest single scene of the season. But I'm saying, effectively, they were used the same way, where we're running from other people, and they're going to come. We're in this tower with this old man. They're about to come kill us, and then just so happen the ground falls from underneath, and a horde of clickers come from to save us. Is a horrible save, but they save us from the people, and now we got to run from them. It's the same scene. It's executed relatively the same way. It's just we don't like the scene. We didn't like the scene already, and so them coming to save them, it's not a happy thing. But I just think that they're still using the clickers in the same way, and I liked it. I like the tunnel, like you said. I like the lighting. I like the screams of the soldiers dying. That all of this was very horrifying. And them getting away, I believe them getting away just by the, you know what I'm saying, the tools and stuff that they use to get away. I didn't feel like that the clickers were like slow. You know how sometimes zombie movies, it's like, oh, they just must have slowed down right before they got you, and that's how you got away. Like, I didn't feel like that when they were running. Like, and so this, to me, this scene was great. Dina, I don't want Dina the only reason I don't want Dina to die is because you just killed Joel. And to me, that cheapens Joel's significance if you got to have somebody else die to break Ellie. If Joel wasn't enough to break Ellie, then it need not be anybody else. I do think Dina going to lose this baby. I think she could get kicked in the stomach or something. She going to get captured. This baby ain't making it. We not seeing this baby. This baby will never see the light of day. That's what I'm for sure about, is we won't see this baby. And maybe that's what Ellie will have to deal with, of like dealing with Dina as being broken. Maybe that is the thing.
Say go to hell, and it wasn't towards you, though. Just go to hell. I don't want to see it
now. I can't.
I know that's not happening. That's wishful thinking on Ashley's part. Dina's not going anywhere. I'm convinced. I ain't seen her play no game, but I know she's not going anywhere.
Yeah, whatever. I just know that whatever, because when they were talking, whatever like ideal thing that they were talking about, where like the three of us are gonna have a baby, that's not gonna happen. Like, because that's what you want to happen. So that's not gonna happen. But Dina, I think they're gonna go to zombie Planned Parenthood, but Dina gonna make it through.
Quana, I can't stand y'all. Y'all making my side hurt. Because Dina's not Maggie. Listen, Walking Dead is my show. Dina is not Maggie. She's not built for this. So there's no way. I'm kind of with Dom. Like, there's no way that baby is making it, because she's not Maggie. That said, this little scene was cute. This was cool. I like the reminder of the clickers, because y'all, lest we forget, they still showed us them daggone that growth in them pipes that we ain't dealt with yet. We ain't dealt with that growth in them pipes. So I was glad to be reminded that this is a zombie apocalypse show. So I was cool with the clickers. But that, and of course, like we said, we knew it was coming. I really wish that they hadn't shown us the scene with Dina and the gun in the little look ahead, because we kind of knew that there was going to be something coming.
Oh yeah, I didn't even watch that.
See, I made the mistake of letting it play. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like Ashley this week. I'm gonna watch the little couple of minutes after the episode. So I let it play on out and watched the little thing and saw the little gun. Was like, oh, I guess she about to find out that Ellie got immunity. So now we got to have the little zombies come back and try to bite her so that we can have this scene play out. But that said, I like the sequence of it. I will say the middle of this was a lot of good action that I just wish would have been service to the plot and to the arc of the characters a little bit better, because I feel like they're showing their strength with writing those sequences, but we're not getting the growth in the characters at all. At all. We're not getting that went out the window when Pedro left.
Man, Dina ain't even Lori. This is no Walking Dead affair. This is not. They was in the trenches in the Walking Dead.
Where she about to be hated like Lori was though?
She might get that Lori hate. She just might. What we're not gonna do though is have 65 people in here and not enough likes. That's what we're not gonna do. I'm gonna give y'all a minute to hit that like button, show us some love, run up those comments, and we are gonna come right back. Take this moment to do so.
This ain't what you project. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. 60 flip. I just wanna rock. I just wanna. Shorty got that body out of y'all. Hit it once, no time. Shut up, fuck, you gon' kill my vibe. Stand on my money, don't know my side. Pick them sides, and you better choose wisely. That's my high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my high. This ain't what you project. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. 60 flip.
It makes me so mad every time I run that and I see Jesse. It's just such a missed opportunity. I don't care what they did in that game. Jesse should have been here. Jesse should have been here. We need him. But getting into this and the brutality of it all, speaking of people being brutal, the conditioning, the nudity, I was like, oh, penis. Oh my God, the torture. They wanted to let us know, just like in the beginning, that baby Jeffrey means business. I'm not here to play around. If you don't tell me what I want to hear, I'm prepared to torture, kill, whatever. I really like this dynamic. I'm really interested in this part of the show. I'm really interested in the scars and the wolves of it all. It's wartime. You could tell that this was some type of existence before, and now it's just me versus you. The conversation we have here, apart from the beginning, and this is, of course, 11 years later, where he was already brutal there, but we have this, this democracy like this. I was like, baby, you're demonic in here, Jeffrey. Like, this kind of reminded me of Abby when she was like this complex, and we have this morale and this, that. Like, is this what you're talking about? Are these the wolves that you're speaking of? Because it's clearly not here. Just this, the running constant theme of this show, and even when you get into Joel, is, who's on the right side of history, who's making the right decisions, when low-key everybody's very for themselves and nobody's all right all the time. Y'all pretty goddamn diabolical. I really like that. I even like this, as he called this scar down here, that he called him, and it's just like, yeah, tell me. He's like, bear my hand, do whatever you have to do, because I'm not giving you anything. And there's this superiority on this side of, we're only growing, getting better, faster, stronger. So while you can, take me out and do whatever, I'm very committed to this mission and to this long gone profit. And we're always recruiting, even though you have your guns and your machinery, and we have, the more prehistoric weaponry. We're going to win in the end. I'm here for this. I'm all here for this. I'm here for this. I was here for the transition of the character that he spared also. and how you could see he could go from in this decade to just being completely stoic. He did what he had to do. He finds these people like you're the scum between my toes. Like you guys are dispensable. I don't care. You deserve to die. He did the right thing. I think this is very, very interesting. And if it were me, this is where the focus would be on the show. Dom?
I think you might be a little sadistic. No, this was a great scene. This was a great scene. Jeffrey Wright deserves all the accolades, all the awards. It made me wish that what was the other show on HBO?
Westworld.
But it made me wish Westworld ended better. Because I miss Jeffrey Wright. This scene made me feel it did the imagery definitely made me go back to like and it's funny because the world ended in this show. The world ended in 2003, so we never got to invade Iraq, presumably. But this very much gave like the imagery of like Abu Ghraib and like how they were torturing people in the Middle East right during the Iraq War. It was almost like a 1-to-1. Like they used that as a reference, and it was very jarring, but it was very accurate in the sense that like torturing doesn't produce results. Like torturing doesn't work, and then so like this was a great example of that, and I like that. And Jeffrey Wright is a little too convincing. I don't want to be alone in the room with him, and he needs some information out of me because I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell it. You didn't went to Williams Sonoma on me. I'm gonna tell it. But now I want more of. I do want more of the wolves and this war between the wolves and the scars, the Seraphites. I want to know more about Seraphites. I want to know what this religion is. Who is this prophet? I need a flashback to who this lady was and how did she die and why do y'all we follow her like this? That the lore around the Seraphites is very interesting and one of the better like cults in cinema because all the people in Walking Dead, all the little whistlers and all of that, to me, those were horrible. Like I didn't care. Like you're weird people. I get it. You're weird people and you found each other. But this actually seems like a real like religion and it seems interesting. So I want to know more about that. I don't need to see him or his little wee ever again. That I don't need to see. I'm so glad Jeffrey Wright just went ahead and shot him because I didn't need another cut. HBO got somebody in there halfway through Game of Thrones who was like, "Oh, we can show wee-wees too. I know we don't got to just show breasts. We can show wee-wees too." And ever since Game of Thrones been like, "Whip it out," and I'm good on it.
Hodor was serious too. That was a serious Peter.
I'm gonna watch Game of Thrones one of these days. I appreciated the brutality, and Dom, you're not the first person to tell me I was a little sadistic. I can go over there from time to time, but yeah, I just feel like this is our story. Quana, is this our story?
I think this is the story, or at least the more interesting story. I don't want to gloss over the fact that by showing this Seraphite naked and chained up like that, they're really leaning into how brutal Jeffrey Wright's character is. Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, all we know really is that the Seraphites were slaughtered by the wolves were slaughtered by the Seraphites. And yeah, it was bad in one degree, like getting your, entrails kind of pulled out is not a good thing. But having this man so naked and vulnerable like that, it's definitely giving some prisoner of war, certain time period in past world history kind of imagery that I think is, meant to just really show us we really don't know who all we're getting with Jeffrey Wright. And so I really want them to dive deeper into this character. This is the kind of character that I think we should have maybe been hearing whispers about this character before they even showed up. This is a character whose reputation precedes him. And even how he sat in the back of that truck listening to the other guys kind of gossip and brag, and you sit in the cut, you quiet, you got to watch out for them quiet ones because they be on one. But it also was giving me Aunt Lydia and the scene where the other handmaids were punished for June. And so that little part of me was like, okay, Uncle Lydia, I see you. Like what we do with the frying pan on the burner kind of deal. So yeah, I mean, but this is where our story, if they're leaning into zombies bad, humans worse, we need to be spending way more time here.
Mm-hmm. They always are. You be in them horror streets, Quana. The humans are always worse than the actual infected. Like, and I love this. You can't give me this and then take me back to My Little Pony in them. Ashley, Jeffrey?
Yeah, he was cooking for me, Tyra.
Literally.
Literally.
I like a character who is bound by their convictions, like, and just sees it all the way through. If you're gonna be a villain, be the best damn villain you can be. And I feel like even with him, I feel like there's going to be something about him that can resonate and that we can understand and relate to, even this, because although he's calculated, although this was brutal, this was passionless. This wasn't, I want to do this because I'm bloodthirsty. This was giving, I'm doing this as a means to an end. We need this information. We see a glimpse of, I don't want to call it empathy, but he did save this one young recruit, right? So there's this line, I think, for him that's drawn in the sand. But as far as with Bushman down there, because it was really Bush, we didn't really see a ton of micropene there. It was majority Bush, Tyra, that we saw. But I even in this whole thing, because first of all, teach me about the copper pots, Jeffrey. Like, you were a chef? Like, all right, cook me dinner. Take me out for dinner, baby. But no, as we're here, I liked how we're not going to belabor the point. When that man put out his left hand, like after he already did the right, he said, oh yeah, you're not going to tell me anything.
You're committed.
This is a true believer. This is the end of it. And I also like where we immediately flash to the hallway where this recruit, all these years later, it's like, if he did it, he deserved it. So now he's got his own kind of fan club, or maybe this is a father-son relationship. We could have spent the entire episode here. I want to know about the dynamic of that relationship. Did you take him under your wing? Is he now your operative? Will he do whatever you say? Jeffrey, how are you so calculated? What was this, and what are we aiming for? We know that the Seraphites clearly are organized and have a plan for future attacks. I need more of that. I need more of the leader of the Seraphites. I want to know about this dead prophet, and I want to know who's in command now. But yeah, this was great storytelling. This was great imagery. I agree, Quana. It definitely gave World War II situations that we've seen before in Schindler's List or any of those things. And so definitely it does make you question, is the regime that Isaac is with in the right? You know what I mean? So I like this part. I like this because it has me asking questions and thinking a little bit more.
You know, as soon as they shave a head, we go over there to the Lord. Like,
I think it was the chain. I think it was
everything. It was just the complete state. This was very, very brutal. I just appreciated it. Like, please, can we please go somewhere else? But unfortunately, we can't stay here. We have to go back over here. And this was another issue, of course, I had with the show in general. It's been really predictable lately, and I couldn't say that last season. You know, I couldn't say that at all. I think we knew last episode about this, because, you know, I've learned my lesson. I'm not watching the trailer anymore. But it's like, oh, if she has the gun on her, she has to know why. But I don't believe them for it to be, I'm protecting you with my life. Like, I didn't believe this at all, but we knew it was coming, and we knew, you know, it didn't have as much of an impact as I'm sure that the showrunners wanted it to, because we knew that it was going to happen. We expected this. What I didn't expect was what came directly after this. Okay. As Ashley stated earlier in the live, the aggressive scissoring of it all. God, I was so uncomfortable. And I know that these are grown women. I know that. I just, aesthetically, I was not pleased, and I didn't want to be here. I hate the way it transpired. Even when we're getting into Ellie's character, who in the apocalypse, you know, there aren't a lot of opportunities to have experiences with the opposite sex, let alone actual sex. This is a special moment for Ellie. This is a progression for Ellie. Ellie was the aggressor in this scene. You know, she initiated. It was so, like, get out of there. Get your hand out of there. It was, I was like, I know there was supposed to give, like, it's, you know, it was supposed to give passion. Like, we're finally our true selves. We're finally as vulnerable as we could ever be. This was supposed to be progression from Joel, because that was the only person, and you know, of Tommy, of course, who actually knew that I had immunity. Were we going to talk about it? No, we just kind of glossed over and got here. And it's just like, well, I'm pregnant. We knew that when everybody knew, you know, from the beginning of the monostat that she was pregnant, all the way from the vomiting from the episode before this one. So that wasn't even a surprise. But the abruptness of, I'm immune, I'm pregnant. I was like, oh my girl, please. Oh, Jesus, why? It was an assault on my eyes. It was nothing passionate about it. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't attractive. There was no lust. There's also kind of a lacking in their chemistry to me. I don't believe them. I just really didn't want to be here. And I was upset that they subjected me to it. I was very upset. I was. And then when we actually have the conversation, because we don't talk about the immunity, we instantly go into the pregnancy of it all. First of all, it was the questioning of it, like, so it's Jesse's, right? Or girl, rub that monostat on that thing. It's Jesse's, or, you know, was it somebody else? Like, it wasn't even a definite Jesse. We're supposed to have such vulnerability coming off of her to know that with her words, she's not saying it outright, but Dina is basically saying, you know, I'm in this situation or pregnant because I was going to settle with Jesse because at least he's a nice guy. And, you know, my mom said, and I couldn't be this, but now that I know this is an option, I can be who I always wanted to. This is my true self. So everything, you know, that happened before, we're supposed to disregard it, that she said and did with Ellie. Fine. The instant, I'm going to be a daddy? I was like, what? What the hell you mean you're going to be a daddy? What are you talking about? Like, oh, Jesus. I am here for the LGBTQIA representation of it all, but be for real. Be for real. This is where we are. This is the instant outpour when you're pregnant. So it's going to be three of us. I'm going to be a daddy. Like, and what do you want us to do with it for the next few episodes? I hope she loses that baby ASAP. Quana.
Listen. As a fully cishet woman, let me just say, I don't mind a good LMNOP moment on a show when it's done well, okay? And when you have someone who looks like Bella Ramsey and they look incredibly young, and there's a way that there's two choices really you can have. You can have the kind of awkward first time where everything is kind of in sepia or in a mystical glow, and you don't really see much, and it's awkward, and there's laughter going on while it's happening, and you kind of know what's happening, but you don't see it. But there's laughter and light because they both know that they don't know what the heck they're doing. There's that moment, and then there's if you have someone who looks like Bella Ramsey, but they're going to go full on stud mode, and they know what they're doing, and they're going to put that stank on it, and it's going to be like, oh, wait a minute, okay? I know that you came, but we're not here. We're not here. So what was the urgency in giving us this moment in that y'all weren't going to abide by the rules of having the 19, 20-year-old doing this scene, and you are abiding by the rules of how you can do this scene? That's the part I just could not wrap my mind around. How you go from she holding up when I promise you I watched the scene 4 times, because I was like, she was holding up the lamp. She put the lamp down. I'm pregnant. Put the lamp down. Now we going in. I was really like, what part of that was like, oh, I better get my chance now. Like before the baby come, I just didn't understand how we went from that to it. It really was not logical. It was like, oh, I better get in there before the baby tear it up. It was passion. That's the part where I'm just really like, people in the room, they don't watch TV. They don't watch TV. They don't look at how movies are made, because this was a hot mess. I would have been down for the cute little scissor moment if it was done in a respectful way. Intimacy. Because what I get the feeling is Bella Ramsey is someone who, because of her gender identity, maybe she doesn't want to, or they don't want to do certain things. It really didn't make no sense to me, Tyra. It was pissing me off how the scene even came about. It really did. Because how you go from I'm pregnant to we getting it on. You ain't put this sperm in there. So why was that the next thing? It wasn't like a couple that had been trying and that was the reaction that you was gonna get because now we're happy because we've been trying to have the baby and now the baby is here. That's not your baby. You ain't put that baby in there. So why would that be your reaction? It's just not logical. It's not logical. It pissed me off so bad. So bad. It really did. They could have just had them kiss. It could have been like, oh my God, well, like them bonding over that moment and like, are you afraid? Having some tender moment and then them kiss. And we know that that's like after, but that straight, it just, oh God, I can't. I really wanted to stop at that point and be like, okay, I'm done.
No, and then these pregnancy tests are older than Jesus. But all right, we're just gonna leave that where it's at. I think it would have been far more intimate if there was a really deep conversation about the immunity. That was glossed over and skipped so abruptly. And I don't know if we're going to revisit it, in the next episode, but it's just like, oh, it's just really, let me see the end. It's just really healing. So like, you're really immune. And then that's just that. I wasn't here for the aggressiveness of it all. Like the vagina is sensitive. You don't bring your big ashy bareback apocalyptic hand in there and shove it. Like we didn't even undo. There was just it was like there was no intimacy coordinator on set. There was no grace given to the scene. It was just it's like, oh my God, relax. Y'all had time to do everything else. You don't think you're gonna have time to do that again? But I get it. It was unrequited and passion. I finally get to do what I've been dying to do with you for however long. But y'all never gave that. Ashley?
It was vile. Like a jackhammer. She didn't even unbuckle that young lady's pants. She didn't even talk into the box. She didn't do anything you would think they would be doing. And somebody talked about it, the hygiene. Yeah, you've been writing Shimmer for how long? You guys feel like this is just the right time. The immunity would have been my biggest concern. Not only as far as Dina wanting to know how this works, but then also Ellie, is my secret safe with you? Literally, you kissed me in the mouth, tasted my mouth, and then went back over there to Jesse. You just told me you was back with Jesse. So how far can I trust you, Dina? Like there needed to be conversation around the immunity and what it means and how you can't tell anybody this, because if so, they're going to try to kidnap me, take me, and, do all of these things. And Dom will probably say it's because they're young. They don't know. That's what they were trying to convey with her going in there like a jackhammer, that she was young. It was supposed to give, that teenage, oh, I'm just so happy and horny and whatever. I was disgusted. They looked young. They acted young. The afterglow is stupid. Like, look at Ellie looking like she put in major work. Look at the look on her face. That self-satisfaction, like, I did it. I turned her out. I promise you that Dina is for these streets.
That's what I'm saying. This is not Dina's first time.
It's who the baby pappy? We don't really know. Is it Jesse's? Is it? The way I feel about it, Dina has been sowing her wild oats all over Jackson. It could be anybody's. It could be the old man. Seth, is that his name? It could be his. It could be the lumberjack.
No. Please, Ashley.
There's a reason I don't like Dina. It's deep down on the inside of me. I can't shake it. Hated everything about this scene. And then the icing on the cake was, I'm about to be a father. I'm going to take care of you and this baby. I'm going to build us a log cabin. I'm going to go out and chop wood and bring it back, and we'll scissor at night by the fire while you breastfeed. I will feed you beef jerky. I hate it. I hate it.
Ashley, I'm going to hang up on you and put you in the back. Can you please? But ditto, absolutely. Ellie took that in like, oh girl, like I'm gonna bring home the bacon fried up in the pan. Like this is like a literal rebirth. Now that I lost Joel, like I have a reason to go on and live. I'm gonna be a daddy. Ellie was fuming and bursting with energy and joy, like she personally laid that seed. And girl, you didn't. Relax. Dom,
Yeah. Yo. All right. There's so much. It's so much. So let me start with the part where I agree with, and then we can get into the rest of this. Because this y'all making me do a lot of work to fit in
Dom,
this
don't be
show.
you can do no work, Dom.
But I agree that the idea of immunity is not a concept in this world. And so for me to look at you ready to shoot you, and for you to be faced with the realization that you are immune is such an earth-shattering concept that we got to have a follow-up question. It got to be some investigation. The age be damned. Like I don't, yeah, the age, and I no, because I got 1,000 questions. And as much as Dina talked, I got 1,001 questions. And so the glossing over the immunity thing, I'm sure they're just probably gonna punt that to another episode. But I got yeah, that was weird for me. But let me talk about this the sex scene, because so let me start by saying that there are several narrative reasons for a sex scene or an intimate scene, and sometimes it's to be sexy, right? And sometimes, like I give you the sex scene in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the movie. Like after that gunfight, the gunfight was just a metaphor for their intensity with each other, and then that manifests in a sex scene at the end of the gunfight. But that sex scene was supposed to be sexy. But you have other sex scenes that are not supposed to be sexy. It's just supposed to show how close these characters have gotten to. And then I'll give you Masande and Grey Worm. That sex scene wasn't supposed to be sexy. It was supposed to show how comfortable these people have finally found somebody that they can be comfortable with. And it's showing how that without telling us, it's showing it. And this scene was supposed to be the latter. Yeah, I think it was, and I think that's why it was so aggressive, because it's like you find out that I'm immune, you tell me your deepest secret that you're pregnant, and now we're at a stage with each other where we can be completely honest, we're open to each other, we know everything about each other now, and so now, especially on Dina's side, well, like with Ellie, I can finally show my passion that I've been repressing for 5 years at this point. And Dina can now finally be the person she's always been, but she can kind of like walk in that now, and it manifests in some clumsy sex. And I'm gonna tell you, y'all ain't been kids for a while. I ain't trying to call you old, but y'all ain't been kids for a while. 19 was a minute ago, and I'm gonna tell you that. And I'm gonna say, and 19 is probably pushing it because it's probably before then. And I'm saying, and this is both of their first time, because this is Dina's first time with a woman. It's Dina's first time with a woman, and it's Ellie's first time, presumably. Period.
No.
And so
Ellie got the lesbian chick. Remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So, but it's still clumsy. We ain't had a lot of practice. Especially Ellie. Ellie ain't had a whole bunch of practice. And I'm just going to say...
You got to have practice for that, to not jackhammer somebody with your hand.
Yeah. I would say, as the only one here doing that type of stuff, I'm going to tell you that you don't know how sensitive certain parts of other people's body is until you find out. You mess around and you find out.
Coochie.
Well, I'm just saying.
But if it was a man and it was his first time, and it's like, oh my God, like that's different. You have a vagina.
But well, look,
apocalypse.
And look, we gonna keep it PG-13, but how I do me is different than how I'm gonna do you. My tolerance is different than yours, so I don't know. You know what? I'm just saying, I don't know. And I'm excited, and I'm, the hormones and the adrenaline is running, and you might have to tell me like, ooh, stop. You know what I'm saying? You might have to hit me with one of them. Ooh, stop. You gotta hit me with one of them. Sorry, I'm gonna pull back. I will pull back. and I'm gonna ease in.
I would let her
And
make it down. If she,
But they tried to film it like it was kind of cute, Dom, but it wasn't cute. They filmed it the wrong way because I was with you when you brought up Masande and Grey Worm. The problem was with that, they casted Jacob Anderson, and that man is an attractive man. Okay,
Well,
even though he didn't have no peen, he was still a good looking dude.
And the lady who played Masande is probably the most attractive person on Game of Thrones. And so yeah, they're still attractive people. But I'm just saying the point, you weren't supposed to be
You're right.
You weren't supposed to be aroused watching that scene. Like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you're supposed to want to be in with them when you watching that scene. You're not supposed to be, that's not what you're supposed to be doing when Masande and Grey Worm is bumping slabs. So it's like it's a difference. And I'm like, I think that it was supposed to be, I don't want to say children, but it's young people doing young people stuff. And I think that goes, and again, this is 2000, and the daddy scene. That's the last part. Is I gotta defend the daddy scene because only because this is not 2025 lexicon. This is 2003. This is 2003's version of LBGT2 LMNOP awareness, and in 2001, 2, and 3. The idea of being gay was drawn along gender roles. You know what I'm saying? So if you were a girl and you were gay, you were trying to be a boy. If you were a boy and you were gay, you were trying to be a girl. And so if you are a gay girl and you were not birthing the child, you were just going to raise the child, that's the language you would use. And
I ain't got a problem with the daddy of it. My problem is you just got to liking this person yesterday. Now you the pappy?
Well, no, she been like Dina for 5 years. She been liking Dina. Dina just been being the mean girl for this whole time, and now Dina want to act.
Girl. That's what we calling them now.
I'm just saying she was acting like we just laid here. You told me that you knew I liked you and you knew how bad I liked you, but you over here hugging me and playing around with me, knowing that I want the draws. You know I want the draws, and you over here whispering in my ear and playing around with my feelings. So yeah, you was being a mean girl.
I don't care how many, if I'm a lesbian and how many coochies I aggressively rub. If you roll up on me and say you with child, my initial response is not gonna be, I'm the pappy. We're just trying to, like, there has been a lack of intimacy, a lack of closeness, a lack of chemistry with them since this show started. So you're not gonna sell that to me.
Well, that was like, because I guess that was a teenage. Did you ever watch the show My Secret Life of the American Teenager? The show that Shailene Woodley, with the boyfriend on that show was just like that. He was like, oh, as soon as she was pregnant, he was like, oh yeah, this ain't my kid, but I'm gonna be the boyfriend. We gonna get married. I'm gonna be the daddy. And it's like, calm down. You 17. Calm down. I'm gonna get a car. I'm gonna get a job. We gonna move out. Hey, ease. You excited? You excited?
I'm gonna let it go down. I can't wait till we abort this mission and this whole notion is stomped out. Get this out of here. We don't need this. Ain't no room. The initial thought, logical. We were in the regular world. In the apocalypse, how are we gonna survive? What does that mean for a baby? Immediately take your ass back to Jackson. We have to how are we going to fend for a baby? How are you there? The same way she didn't inquire about that immunity is the same way she didn't inquire about that pregnancy. It was just instant acceptance and aggressive thrust. Just leave the scene. I didn't like any of this. I didn't like any of it. And if you got to mansplain it that hard, Dom, you secretly didn't like it either. But we end off, where we did get a little bit of, I guess what would be considered a normal response, because we have this radio left from the wolves, and we overhear the name Nola, and that's the crew that came in there along with Abby and took out Joel. So we have a clue now as far as the direction that we need to go in. But before we get into anything, I think you should go back. I think you should, something logical. And of course, Dina says, well, no, we're in this together. And we could, for lack of a better word, have Ellie, stand up and I'm going to protect Dina in our baby. Jesus, God. I just, the quicker we get back to Jeffrey Wright, the better. That's all I'm gonna say to this. I've shared my opinion on these two enough. I don't ever have to see them again. If the bridge underneath them fell and we didn't hear from them anymore, I wouldn't give two boos about it. Quana?
Listen, first of all, y'all just this scene bothered me for a couple of reasons. One, when they heard on the radio, okay, we got some information, which I got excited about because I think we're going to get my girl Tati again. And I like Tati, so I'm excited about that. But then they left the bags downstairs. Why are you leaving stuff behind? You left the bag downstairs, went to the roof. You don't know who's coming after you. I'm gonna need at some point in time somebody to clock in and realize that y'all are in the post-apocalyptic situation. Please act like y'all done been here before. So that bothered me so bad about this scene. We need help. We need backup so bad. I'm gonna need them to send Dina, go back to Jackson, send the troops because they're not cut out for this. They're not cut out for what's to come at all.
Dumb. We gonna protect this baby because that's my seed.
Oh no, I got no attachment to the baby. The baby need to go. The baby need to go. And it's nothing worse. It's nothing worse than babies in the apocalypse. It's nothing worse than babies in the apocalypse. I can't stand babies in the apocalypse. They're not interesting. They're not engaging. They're gonna do what babies do, and you can't get mad. So Chuck the baby. I won't. Whoever kicked Ellie when Joel died.
Manny, I hear on my radar, Manny.
Yeah, I need to call Manny, have him put some steel-toe boots on, and go to work. Like he need to put his cape on because I need to come save this show and kick Dean in the stomach. But to me, I like this, and I'm gonna say that this is just my personal thing in the sense of like Dina going with her and not going back to Jackson. I hate the let's split up. I hate the I'm a ride with you, but no, you got to go away because I'm gonna protect you. No, we on the same page. We got the same capabilities for the most part, and I didn't made it this far, and it just makes no sense because you're gonna die. I mean, you should have died already. You might as well do this together. I like that. To me, it makes sense, and that's the only way we're gonna get this baby out of here is if Dina's long for a ride. Because if Dina go back home, she's gonna have this baby, and so I need her to stick by Ellie's side. I'm gonna stick beside him so she can fall. Crazy. And that's the only thing. So yeah,
it's a wild work. Stick beside her so you can get kicked in the stomach with some steel-toe boots.
Because it's coming. It's coming.
Ashley,
go home, Roger. When she offers and extends that invitation, go the hell home. Unless you do, like Jasmine said earlier in the chat, Dina gets bit, has the baby instantly, just like Ellie was born. Then we donate the baby for research because the baby's not going to either. And then we get the cure for the virus. I think that's how we do this. But I mean, finding a radio, Dom, seriously, it's like the shock and awe on your face.
It's crazy. You want to cut the baby up. Y'all looking at me crazy because I want her to get kicked in the stomach, but y'all gonna cut the baby in the quarters.
Saying, if it's gonna happen anyway, you know what I mean.
Might as well be for a purpose.
We don't have anything to feed the baby. How's the baby gonna make it? You know, it's what happens. It's post-apocalyptic, situation. But no, again. Dina for the streets is a liability, even in this, because now I don't just have to worry about you and your incompetence. Now I have to worry about this unborn whatever that you are going to maybe one day give birth to. I'm very aggravated by this, girl, because what are you going to do with this radio? You haven't moved up to this point like you have any sense at all, Ellie. So for me, finding this radio, getting this information, what are you going to do with this intel? What are you going to do with this information? Are you going to be wise enough to use it to forward your mission? And at this point, I want to know, my question is, do you even really care? Do you even remember while you're on this mission? Because your focus has been all over the place. And just to speak to something Dom said earlier, as far as her having ADHD, I believe that that's true. However, we have seen her laser focused. When Joel was bleeding out, in that desolated room. She was hyper focused for however long it was for him to sweat everything out that he needed to sweat out. She was on task. She's capable of being on task and being solidified. I think that this baby and Dina is taking away from her motivation for vengeance. And I need that because it's not justice, like she said to them people. It's not justice, baby. It's vengeance that you want. It's vengeance that we need from you, Ellie. It's the only way I'm going to like her. It's the only way. It's the only way I'm going to like her moving forward. Bring some new people in. Get Dina out of there. Let her come to term, though, so we can use the baby. Get her out of there. And let's build a team on the outside of rogues.
You gotta let it go, Ashley. I think they want us to like immediately, because for budgetary reasons, whatever, we couldn't utilize Pedro in the way we maybe wanted to. It's like, forget Pedro ever existed. This is a new venture. We're on to, this is what you're getting. Be set. I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised if that baby came into fruition. I don't.
Now, what Issa say? F them kids.
This is her new motivation. This has replaced that. So I will be interested to know if we're gonna, even is this all for you, Joel, or are we gonna now be on a mission to strictly not my wife and child? Are we just gonna be on protecting like at all every single step of the way now? Are we gonna be preoccupied with, are you okay? Is that like, girl, oh, that's the last thing I need. You babysitting Dina on a mission. Girl, we're supposed to be in stealth mode. Pissing me off. But these idiots. There's no dimension between these two. They're the last aspect of the show that I ever want to be with, and it's not seeming to get any better, even with the 4th episode in an expectancy of the rest. How can this show be saved? It can be saved the way that I wanted it to be saved in the first place. I don't know anything about the game, so I didn't know about the Seraphites and who they were. But if it's not going to be them, they need to team up with somebody. If we're not going to have somebody coming from Jackson, Tommy, whomever, they need to meet someone. We need not only just for muscle, but for purpose and dynamic. The dimension between these two are just non-existent. As far as I'm concerned, they're literally the same person. It's like two dummies leading each other through the forest. And I'm not interested. I need somebody there. I don't care if they meet a woman, a man, a team of people. Meet somebody and introduce some additional characters before the series ends. Because if it ends on this note and I'm with these knuckleheads, I'm really disinterested. Ashley, how can I save the show? Or can it be saved?
Focus on Isaac. Let's go over there with Isaac. I'm actually now more intrigued with the dynamic between these two warring factions. That's what I care about right now. I think if we can get back into the main thing being the main thing, which is that Ellie is the possible only hope for humanity. If we could somehow lean back into that, that would even be better for me if we're not going to go on our revenge mission, because that's all I want. I wanted a vendetta. I wanted carnage. I wanted a wake of bodies. Like, that's what I wanted from this, and I don't think I'm going to get it. So then give me the warring factions. Give me the wolves. Give me the Seraphites. Let's lean into that more. And like I said, if immunity can be gained, if there's any hope for the future with Ellie's DNA, let's go back to that, because this kindled whatever this is, I don't want to see it anymore. Like I said, do not leave me alone with the two of them anymore. Bring somebody next episode in to cut this up, because I don't know what it is. It's not even a good friendship dynamic for me. Like, I don't really believe Dina is authentic, and that's probably my biggest issue. I don't think she knows who she is, which, I mean, for her age, she doesn't have to, but I don't feel a genuine sense of anything. I felt like she's been petty since we first met her with the whole, Joel invited me over. Are you coming? Like, I just, Dina grieves my spirit. I just do not enjoy her, and I don't like the dynamic. Like I said, let alone as a friend or lovers. It just doesn't give any of that one big happy family for me. I don't. Yeah.
I will say, I don't want this to become a teenage show. I don't want to be on the CW. I don't want no episodes of Riverdale. This could easily turn into that. If we introduce I wish it was somebody else. It had to be Jesse's. If we introduce like a love triangle, and please don't do that. Quanta, how can they save the show?
I I don't disagree with anything that Ashley said. I think that they need to focus and lean in on Jeffrey Wright's character, Isaac. And I think they need to maybe figure out, I don't know if there's any going back to Jackson, because they rushed us away from Jackson before they could do something truly interesting with that. That was an interesting location, and they could have done a little bit more there. But now that we've gone away from it, I don't know. The only thing I can really think is show us the threat that these groups pose to Jackson, and then get us back on course for that. Because otherwise, just with Ellie and Dina and the will they won't be a rom-com of it all, that's not what anybody signed up for. That's actually the antithesis when we thought we were getting this not cute, but show about this man who's rough and tough and worn out from society, and having already lost a kid is now protective of this other kid, to then jump into a whole new thing where now we're dealing with that kid being a semi-grown person and whatever's going on with her. I don't think we want that. That was too much of a jump, I think, for the average fan who did not play the game. So they got to take us back to the things that made the show really interesting, which is the lore behind, the different types of zombie people and the factions and types of people that have evolved in this world. They got to get us back there quickly, because do they know they have 30 minutes?
30 minutes. 3 episodes. There's
3 episodes left.
Well, Dom, you're pretty satisfied with the show so far. Is there anything that would make the show better for you, I'll say?
Well, I will say I just like this episode. I thought this episode was fine. Mm-hmm. I do think they rushed a lot of it, though. I felt like this, like, if I didn't know the game and I didn't know what was going on with the game, and that they had to kill Joel, I would have, because they started the season showing us, because the first season was about Joel and this kid, his surrogate daughter, and that relationship, and then they start this episode with they start the season with a time jump, and now it's Joel dealing with a grown daughter, or a daughter growing up, and so that dynamic and how that's different, and then they took the rug from out of us, and it's like, nope, she's just gonna be grown on her own, and now she's in a relationship, and now all of this other stuff is very all in about an episode. Like we switched from one to the other in an episode, and with only, so I think that was very jarring. I just thought this episode, for what it was supposed to do, I thought it did it pretty well. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going back to Jackson this season. Because in 3 episodes, what I think The Last of Us, just not even with Jackson, but just in general, I think they're trying to be like the anti Walking Dead. In the sense of, like, a lot of the tropes that The Walking Dead fell into, where we walk, then we get somewhere to stay, and we got to stay here in this makeshift home until somebody comes and tries to take it from us. And that's every season. I think they're trying to get away from that trap. And so I don't think we're going to see Jackson again this season. I don't think we're going to get another assault on Jackson this season. I think that Ellie and Dina are going to be caught in between this war between the Seraphims and the Wolves, and I'm hoping, like you said, that somebody comes in to break up the dynamic a little bit. I'm hoping Tommy shows up. I'm hoping Tommy is like, well, I didn't want us to go get revenge because Joel's already dead, so that's just gonna waste more lives. But now that Ellie's actually gone, I think Tommy would be up for going to save a life.
Well, they keep saying that Tommy, he did initially go in the game, so maybe he'll show up to save them.
That's what I think. I think one of these episodes, I think Tommy's gonna show up, and that'll be the adult presence that we're so missing with them. I hope it's next episode. I doubt it. I think things will get a little bit more dire before he shows up. But I think that's where the rest of the season is. I think they're just going to be in the middle, and they'll be the audience surrogate for this war between these two factions. I'd be very surprised if we go back to Jackson before the end of the season.
So tragic. I'm just really gonna give Tara nothing to do. Thank you so much for the super chat, Darfalina. It said it was Dina pulling out 4 and 5 pregnancy tests that all expired the same year Ellie was born. That really blew me. Yeah, she pulled them out. Like, well, they're all expired, Dina. It doesn't matter how many of them that you peed on, girl. But she said if I got enough of them, they wouldn't all show up with these 2 lines now. That must mean that I'm a child. She did say she was late though, super late. Thank you so much for the 199. They act so brand new to the apocalypse. Extremely brand new. I don't know what it's gonna take, because if it's not losing Joel for us to get a little serious, then hell, this is just who they are. And I don't think they have enough time or are gonna hold enough of the fans' interest to this for this to be the grower that they want it to be. I don't have no predictions. I don't even want to have any.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna skip myself. Quana, any predictions for episode 5?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like somebody has to show up at this point. I think, Ellie and Dina, they're going to be off headed toward the white building, to try to encounter the crew that we know that they've been searching for, Abby's crew. And I would imagine that before they get there, somebody is going to have been on their trail and come up, if nothing else, to complicate the situation. Let's say that they're super stealthy with it and they're able to kind of roll up on somebody without getting somebody else getting the drop on them. I think someone would either have to roll up on them to complicate things for them or to help get them out of a sticky situation. Maybe, hopefully, prayerfully, it would be Tommy. I think I could see it being Seth. Just because we had that moment with him, and why have that character if you don't use him?
Or it could be Jesse, and they want this to be the CW, and it could be Jesse.
And it could be Jesse. But if Jesse don't come with one of them, if he don't come with a real grown up, I'm gonna be a real grown up to show up and help manage the class, please. Okay.
Which one is because I get confused with the young men on the show because they all are the same to me. Which in the beginning of the episode when Tommy was chopping wood and the dude with the too small t-shirt came and was like, actually, I'm gonna chop the wood because I'm young and strong. Which one was that?
Chop the wood.
Yeah, Tommy was chopping wood because they was putting Jackson back together, and Tommy was chopping wood, and then it was like another person who was like, actually, I'll chop the wood.
That was Jesse.
Jesse.
That was Jesse. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he the one I think. Yeah. If Tommy don't show up, him. That's what I think he goes to, because he's supposed to be taking over Jackson. He next in line. Yeah, him.
That's who I wanted to go with her instead of Dina.
Man, I mean, yeah, because he's capable.
Yeah, very much so, and he has common sense.
Mm-hmm.
He would have knew to put Shimmer up before we went in the middle of the damn city.
But we don't know. I feel like we don't know him yet, though. So I need him to come with somebody we know a little bit more.
Yeah. I just don't.
Because if he showed by himself, it's gonna be a CW show.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm pregnant. Well, it's my baby. Yeah. I don't want that at all. Actually, any predictions?
Girl, no. I just hope we get more Isaac. That's all I hope. I can't. I don't know what these people are gonna pull out their bag. For this, I hope it's good. I just let it be better for me, please.
That's what I put him here for. We just want more Jeffrey Wright. You never spare on any expense for Jeffrey Wright. We already lost Pedro. Y'all got one job. But y'all, that was very interesting, and the conversation I needed to happen. That was episode 4. It's a good ass time, okay? I appreciate everybody who was here tonight. And if you did, you definitely need to go support every single person here on this panel. Ladies first, Quana, I'm going to come to you. Let the people know what you have going on your channel.
Well, over here, I'm covering The Handmaid's Tale, and we are steadily getting closer to the end of that series as well. All of these shows got 30 minutes to come on and bring it on in the house. And sometime soon I'll be having a drop on Thunderbolts, so we'll be doing that as well. Yeah, good times.
I'm interested to hear that. I heard good things about Thunderbolt. Main man Dom, finding inspiration where there should be none. Dom, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Oh man, over at the Screen Static, I just dropped this morning. I dropped a new episode of my Let's Talk About It series, where I just take a hot take and lay out my argument. so we can debate about it in the comments. So this episode was why you're wrong about how you feel about Tyler Perry movies. Yeah. and so those will come weekly, and then I'm gonna do my thoughts on Thunderbolts and why I didn't like it, but why you will. So I didn't like it, but I think you will. That's coming. And yeah, just shows and reviews. Come on over. It's gonna be a good time.
Thank you, Dom. Ashley, anything you want to share with the people?
Yeah, y'all come back tomorrow night. Y'all know this is our first time watching The Wire. We hope to finish up season 3 tomorrow night, so be there for that. On Wednesday, there's going to be a special surprise for the members only in the Discord, and we'll be streaming it to everyone, so that's really going to be fun. I'll let Tyra reveal that. On Thursday, though, we will be doing a live reaction to Polly Family, and then immediately after, we're going to be talking A Simple Favor and Another Simple Favor. Me and Tyra have seen neither of these movies, so we're both going to watch them and discuss all things that. And yeah, guys, just check the schedule. Make sure you're subscribed, have the notification bell on. We do have a movie marathon scheduled for this Sunday in honor of the mothers, and the theme is A Mother's Love. And I don't think any of these choices you would have thought of. So come join us. It's going to be fun.
Always. I am currently 23 subs away from 30K. So if you guys could support me and run that up and get your girl there, I would definitely appreciate that. Can't wait to reveal the surprise for the subs, all the people who love The Wire and whatnot, as far as what we will be doing Wednesday for you guys. That'll be tomorrow. Be there pronto for all things. We in season 3 of The Wire. Boy, I can't wait to see what's coming next. But we also have our Saturday members only late Saturday night movie watch along, our little blockbuster situation. It is my choice. I am going to leave you guys with that pick. And if you guys want to be there for that, be sure to become a member of the Sweet Peas or of the Struggle, and we would love to have you. But that is it for tonight. Be sure to support everybody that you saw here on the panel if you love what they had to say, and be sure to drop down in the comments at the bottom. Y'all do know that's still down there, right? Be looking real bleak down there. Go down there. We love to hear what you guys have to say and your predictions and all that good stuff. And, even respond sometimes, and get some camaraderie down there and talk to you guys. But we will definitely see you guys next Monday for the next episode. And everybody have a good night. Good night, y'all.
Like it or not, you're a dog. You're a good dog, but you're a dog nonetheless.
Get off! What did you call me?
I want a man who knows what he wants.
I guess I'm doing what I want. Hope you doing what you want.
What you and I do is not make love.
What would you call it then?
It's definitely not making love.
You ever heard of the Mo Better? Mo Better makes it Mo Better.
What about the others? I like her too. I like women.
It's fun like Jackie Brown.
You, buddy.